Listen to me very carefully. There are three ways of doing things around here: the right way, the wrong way, and the way that we do it. You understand?
Get the fuck out of here.
Casino's coming up next.
Haven't Seen It with Tim Sestito and Tommy Tevene. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you all so much for listening today. This is a podcast where one of us is watching a movie for the very first time. I believe this is Tommy's first time seeing Casino. Upstairs, Steve, joining us again on the podcast. Welcome back in, sir.
Hey, what do you hear? What do you say? Hi, Don. So I decided I'm going to do a whole podcast in Joe Pesci voice. Is that okay with you guys?
The whole time.
Well, here's the thing. Joe Pesci does like a weird impression of a Joe Pesci if he was like kind of from the Midwest, like the whole movie.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
It's weird not even like a Joe Pesci voice. It's like he's got this like weird upturn onto it where he's like, you know what?
Yeah, no, it's something with his A's. Like I don't know. It's like
very it's stringent. It's like a. It's a unique voice for Joe Pesci in this one.
No, he's definitely trying too hard. Now, honestly, it would have had the same effect if he just kept his regular voice.
Yeah,
but you know what? I'll spare you from the Joe Pesci Chicago impression that I wouldn't even vaguely try to attempt to do.
And, attempt and fail. I mean, Joe Pesci is great in this movie, but it is pretty much a retread of his like Goodfellas rolling away.
Well, more or less. We could get to all that fun stuff when we dive deep here.
Upstairs, Steve, I guess you're our resident Vegas expert because we've had you on for Fear and Loathing Las Vegas, and now we had you on for Casino. So whenever we have a Vegas set movie, we call Upstairs Steve. I guess that's the call we let out.
I mean, like coincidentally, I've never been to Vegas, and Tim was just there. So
I won. Sammy would not have been happy with me. I left with money.
You left with some money. They would have shut you down for that.
I won like $250 total over a weekend. So
that's fucking win.
Hey, better than $0.
Yeah,
better than losing money.
If I break even at a casino, I'm just like, all right, I broke even. Whereas any other given weekend, I would have been out the whole like $500. So I would say that it's a win. I had like 4 hours worth of fun, and I didn't spend any money. Like
I had like $200 from Christmas money that had been sitting in my drawer for I don't know, approximately 10 months, and then I just took it out. I'm very that way with gambling. Like I assign a total number that I'm going to allocate myself. It's a time investment where I could potentially win money, and if I lose it, I lose it. I don't take a debit card with me. It's just.
Oh wow! You don't even take a debit card with you.
No, I take the money that I want. I bring it ahead of time, and then that's my money. I'm not trying to chase myself out of a hole. That's how people go down $10,000 in a weekend.
Look at Mr. Responsible Gambler over here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, that's pretty good. More power to you there. It's more will than I have.
So this is our gambling spin-off podcast, Upstairs Steve, that we're introducing you to, where we tell you all about the ins and outs of Vegas, how to count cards, how to get your hands broken by a hammer.
Listen, people don't know what Tommy does on the side, but he's actually a line setter for the sports books. So Tommy bets the line, puts the lines out for the NFL games. So Tommy, can you maybe walk us through when you're watching NFL games, what makes you indicate when a matchup comes together, how you're going to put a line together?
Basically, I check which uniform I prefer, and I try and see, did Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or Eli Manning play on this team 10 years ago? That's my favorite reference.
That's such a broad spectrum. You went from Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, two of the greatest to ever do it, then the Eli, elite quarterback, and this is coming from a Giants fan, don't get me wrong.
Not on their
Super Bowl winning quarterback, but I mean still.
Not on their tier.
Yeah, it's definitely totally different tier here. But stick to the color of the uniforms though, Tommy.
Yeah. Serve me well so far.
You know, of all my friends, I could honestly see Tommy being the one that actually knows how to count cards and like be
I'm like a
absurdly good at
savant.
it. Yeah, no, like you're Alan from The Hangover. You're just like, just this like goofy dude, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, no, I'm reading up how to count cards, and then we just walk away with 50 grand.
He's Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man, you know?
Yeah. If any of the casino guys come up to us after Tommy wins, I'm gonna be like, "You kidding me? Look at him. He just got lucky." And then they're just gonna look at Tommy and they're like, "Yeah, you're right."
I'm gonna give the thumbs up and be like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Like Tommy's gonna like split tens, which you should never do, and then he's just gonna get two aces, and he's just gonna go, yeah.
He's gonna double down on a pair of twos.
Yeah, he's just then he doubles down on one of them, right? He gets
oh my god,
Tommy.
I can totally see it. Yeah. It's like this guy can't even read. Like we gotta let him go.
So, did you boys see anything recently that's worth discussing?
Oh my god, yes, I did. Tommy, go first though, because I never remember.
Literally right before we recorded, I just saw the new David Fincher film, The Killer, on Netflix.
Oh, that was gonna be mine. You fuck. Phenomenal movie. I really enjoyed it.
I'm sure you love the fact that like half the whole movie is soundtracked by the Smiths. Spoiler alert.
Oh my god! First of all, like when it wasn't the Smiths, the score was done by Trent Reznor, who I'm a huge Nine Inch Nails fan, and so I'm like, okay, so when I'm not listening to fucking like instrumentals done by fucking Trent Reznor, I'm listening to the Smiths every other song. You know, what pissed me
total
off was,
Steve Core.
because it would be like drowned out Smiths when you're outside looking in, and then when you were POV, you would hear the full song, and I'm like, no, just stay in the full song. I like this song.
Just like don't break the song. Just make this a Smiths music video. Come on, David Fincher, you're a music video director. Just going over and over again.
Oh,
but I just thought it was a really like fun, captivating movie, and like the fact that it was just pretty much just going from place to place to place. I think it was well paced. I mean, leave it to David Fincher being meticulous and stuff like that. And I thought that Michael Fassbender gave a fascinating performance. So it was a fun movie.
Fascinating performance. I have not watched it yet because of my whole Netflix thing, but I'm going to try to log it in on a different device and see if I can manipulate it to be able to watch it.
No, I did a really good job. It shoots a lot like Fight Club, obviously, considering the same director. But what is most interesting that I learned about it was that it's actually a graphic novel. And the person that told me the person that told me about it was like, yeah, it's a graphic novel, it's really good, and like if you like Fight Club, like it reads and actually like translates to the screen in a very similar way. So you got your like anonymous like protagonist with no name, kind of like Fight Club again, and
the killer.
The killer goes by different aliases. The killer.
But,
well, considering that was gonna be mine,
do you watch anything else, Steve? Come on, man, you gotta come up with one to the table.
Oh my god!
If you can't think of one right now, we're kicking you out right now. Don't just be
podcast is over. Pause it.
All right, fine. I'm doing I'm doing the most recent Scorsese movie, which is a good transition into what we're talking about here.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yes, Killers of the Flower Moon. Very, very long. I got up to pee twice, but it was still a phenomenal movie. Very especially a true story that I had never even heard of. So like I always learn something when I watch Scorsese movies in one form or fashion. But it's interesting how he can like still put you like immerse you into like whatever world he puts you in, despite like the period that the movie takes place in. Just
and like the darkness of the subject matter.
Often, exactly. I mean, it's a long movie. It's a very, very long movie, and I thought Casino was long, so that's why I don't really watch Casino as often as I'd like to. But it's well worth the commitment, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, seeing in theaters was like just a great experience. I was glad that we'll experience it. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, but like still, it just sits with you in a way that like sometimes Scorsese movies, others don't as much. This one I feel like the ending was just really powerful. So
yeah, Well, I mean, honestly, they could have done another hour just based, but they had to like wrap it up in the end, and they're like, "All right, so
Like, okay, we can't make this a 5-hour movie. We're not doing the fucking Snyder cut here.
Well, there's apparently a Scorsese cut that's going to be on Apple TV or whatever. Like there's going to be a 4-hour cut of the movie.
oh god, for when you have half a day to kill."
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you get the pause. I feel like it's got some pause breaks in it, where it's like
Yeah.
a good, like, I watched an hour and a half. I got it. I can do another hour and a half, and then I can finish it over.
I mean, I will say one thing about The Killer I did like was that if The Killer itself, the David Fincher movie, was that it broke up into chapters. Even though I watched it one straight shot, you totally
like
could
2
just pause
hours.
it.
It's 2 hours, right?
Yeah, so it wasn't that bad, but yeah, in terms of length. But you could, if you wanted to, you could just pause it. Like, all right, I finished chapter 1. All right, whatever. Like, let me watch this little bite.
If you're one of those people that can only watch movies via like TikTok reels with like somebody playing some weird iPhone game underneath it, then like The Killer is basically made for you.
Oh man, fucking no, I had to like time out my piss breaks just based off of my overall like knowledge of movies. Because I'm like, when
this is where becoming a movie buff comes in. It's like,
yeah,
absolutely. I take a piss.
Because like, after like something like, really like profound happens in the plot, or like, a very significant moment happens. I watch like the first minute or two, and I can kind of gauge on, all right, like this is going to be dialogue to like set up like the next scene or something. I'll just catch up later. Let me run to the bathroom now, and then I did my pee squat over to the bathroom, and then I run back.
Waddle.
You waddle out like toilet paper fucking come out of your leg.
Yeah, with my clothespin and all that shit.
You ever hear that app? What's the fucking app? It's like when to pee or something like that. It's you search a movie.
It's like peebreak.com. It's like the ideal time to go to the bathroom.
It's for amateurs.
No, this is listen. Don't use that. Just use Upstairs Steve's knowledge.
Yeah,
just
call up Upstairs Steve. We'll
be a disruption
in right now.
Yes, his number is 911. You call that number, and then he will answer, and then you tell him what's going on. You do it loudly because you're in a movie theater and you want to disrupt other people. So
when do I pee?
When do I gotta pee, dude? Pillars of the Flower Moon. And then he goes, okay, what just happened? Tell me what's going on. I haven't seen it yet.
I need to pee.
And you start explaining the plot, and he goes, yeah, now's a good time. And then you put him on speaker as you're walking down the stairs as you're thanking him.
Exactly. I'll even do you one better. You don't even need to tell me the plot. Just like tell me the runtime, tell me how far in you are, and then I'll be like, all right, listen, here's the deal. You're an hour and 10 minutes into an hour and 45-minute movie. If you leave right now, you're going to miss the climax, depending on how badly you got to go. So I would say put a clothespin on it, stop being a pussy, and sit through the fucking movie, or pee in the cup, or just pee in the cup, and then you'll be fine.
If you're a real savage. Well, it's a sold-out theater, Steve.
Well,
sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Sacrifices have to be made.
Are the lights on? No. You can get away with anything. You're good. All right. If Pee Wee Herman could get away with doing what he was doing, well, actually, he didn't get away with it.
Yeah, he did it all. The exact opposite. He got arrested.
And
he got caught.
In Pee Wee's credit, that was not a normal movie theater. Like if you're going to see a Disney Pixar movie, maybe don't do that in the.
You feel like it'd be encouraged to whip your dick out of a fucking porno theater. Tim, this is gonna be a great one for your mom to listen to. That's all I'm thinking.
Anyone that you put me on is just like tell your mom right away not to listen. Just be like that Upstairs Steve guy is a horrible influence.
All right, this is Casino.
Yeah.
I was a hell of a handicapper. I had it down so good that I ran one of the biggest casinos in Las Vegas for 10 years.
They had it all. They ran the show, and it was paradise while it lasted. Robert De Niro, Sharon Stone, Joe Pesci, a Martin Scorsese picture.
You realize what you can do? You can get us all killed!
Casino, rated R, starts Wednesday at theaters everywhere.
All right. So this is Casino. This is the first time I've seen it since high school, so it's definitely hits a little different now. I have a better acumen of it.
Steve, you mentioned more.
Yeah, I understand Vegas more. Steve, you said that you like this movie, but the runtime kind of puts you off from watching it. When you watch this movie, what makes it not one that you want to come back to? Because the runtime doesn't always stop me. Like I can always watch Lord of the Rings movie, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, but like the difference between like a longer movie like Lord of the Rings versus this one is that there's a lot of dialogue happening in between the action, and there's a lot of characters that share a very similar like sort of name. A lot of them have vowels in their last names. So, and like in hindsight, it's one of those things where like while you're watching the movie, it's like, all right, you're like following the characters and like who's a made guy, who's like, like just one of the soldiers in like the mafia, who's like, the key players, and then who's just like kind of there in the background. So like in hindsight, when you're thinking about the movie, you're like, like, then I gotta like kind of reteach myself everybody's like actual role as it pertains to the plot. It's not as it doesn't become as memorable when you're reminiscing on the movie. Does that make any sense? Like,
Yeah. One thing I noticed this my first watch of this movie is that like this was exposition heavy,
Voiceover heavy.
yeah, especially I mean like I think that this movie in total, like a lot of it is just De Niro explaining the ins and outs of Vegas, and while I think the exposition is handled well and not like really clumsily and everything like that, that doesn't make for a better rewatch. I feel like compared to like, well, yes, Goodfellas does have a ton of voiceover,
but Goodfellas is like the perfect voiceover
perfect amount
because it's not exposition. It's about like the characters, their feelings, their emotions. Where like the first hour of this is very exposition heavy.
Like here's the ins and out of this world. Here's how you count cards or whatever. Here's how people cheat, and like here's how we count all the money and all that shit. I mean, you need a little bit of like
you
background.
Need that. You do need that explanation for how
you do.
concludes.
Yeah,
that's the thing is that if this were any other Vegas movie, I would say it's all right. It's a little too much already, but this movie really lays the foundation of what Las Vegas is today and why it is what it is today. And that's why you're getting so much expose as to like what is going on. That like you're setting up the scene on like what Vegas was, how it became what it was, and then you're able to kind of draw your inferences based off of what Vegas to be today, and it all kind of starts to make sense to you as you're hearing the explanation, like kind of being told to you. So I think it's valuable for that, but yeah, definitely not for those with a short attention span.
Yeah, it's well, I watched this movie all the way through. Minimal phone interaction, but
congratulations! Give a round of applause for Tommy for watching the movie all the way through.
Seriously, thank you
for the podcast.
Yeah, I deserve it for the podcast. I pick out the movies most of the time. But I think that overall, like a movie like Goodfellas, I feel like even to a more extent, like other Scorsese movies can be a little more of a breezy we watch. You can jump in and out of scenes or something like that. Whereas this definitely has elements of that. It's not as much. I think it's a little more of a denser movie, and they try and condense a little bit more in, which just leads to sometimes a little bit slower of a movie overall.
I wouldn't say it's lower. I would say it's more.
I'd say in comparison to like other Scorsese movies, I feel it runs a little slower
than like Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I feel like
the
it's
most
almost
fast-paced one.
I feel like it's also the one that like this one's going to draw the closest comparisons to, because it's just like another mob empire movie starring two of the three same actors from Goodfellas.
I mean, in many ways, it is kind of almost like Goodfellas too, to an extent. Of like Scorsese's same writer, same writer. Scorsese obviously. You said what, two of the three main actors, Robert DeNiro and Joe Pesci, and Irishman in a way kind of feels like the third of the great.
That movie's very different though. I feel like in comparison to Goodfellas and Casino, I think these two share a lot more DNA. And like that just shows where Scorsese was compared to the Irishman versus like Goodfellas and Casino, because Casino is 95, Goodfellas is 1990. Like that's very close in the timeline versus 2019.
Irishman's more of like the coda to all this more than anything. But I mean, there's a point where like they originally wanted to try and get this like make a book off this of Casino and stuff like that. And the guy who Robert DeNiro is based on, like Frank Rosenthal, I think his name is, didn't really want anything to do with this. He's like, I don't really fucking want like a movie to be made about me. And it wasn't until
it was a book though. Before the movie.
The book was completed right when the filming started, like right around the time filming started.
Oh, is that right?
The book came out in 1995.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. See, I didn't read the book, and I only found out recently that they had a book based off of it after I did a little digging. But
but the book it took a while for Frank Rosenthal to even like want to be involved with this. He's like, oh, like I don't want my fucking life to be a whole story. And then he found out that Nicholas Pegley was making a book out of it, and it was going to be adapted by Martin Scorsese, and it was going to star Robert De Niro. And he became interested because he loved Goodfellas, and he thought De Niro was great. And he's like, oh, like, well, now I got to be involved with this. This sounds amazing.
Yeah, of course, you find out De Niro is going to play you in a film adaptation. I felt like De Niro played a different character. In Goodfellas, but I felt like we were mentioning before, though, he played Jimmy Conway in Goodfellas. He plays a Sam Rothstein, but Nicky, played by Joe Pesci, that felt like an extension of Tommy, just the ruthless gangster that kills
he was total
people.
Cowboy. Yeah, like he was your like quintessential loose cannon gangster. And whereas like Robert De Niro, it's like, they're like, it's easy to compare the two considering like, he has similar mannerisms to both characters, but the difference is Jimmy Conway is like, a professional fucking like, thief and like wise guy in Goodfellas, and Rothstein's just kind of a piece of shit, like sort of scumbag. So
like Jimmy Conway's the type of guy that would like kill people himself, as I feel like
Rothstein was a businessman, and I thought the interesting part of the movie was that he was much more like order versus chaos, right? Like for Sam and like his ego and the way things went around, as long as he was running the casino his way, right? There's the right way, the wrong way, and my way to do things around here. The famous quote that we also used earlier in our episode. But he wanted that control, but all he wanted was just to give the bosses the bag, right? They made a big deal of showing how one of the men would come in once a month, take his cut that would go to the old bosses back in the Midwest. And then when Nicky finally moves to town, and him trying to make his own score and his own cut, there is when the things start to devolve for him.
Yeah. And that's really just the whole like arc of the movie, is just that downward spiral, and just watching De Niro slowly lose like everything. But like it's all through his own remission, really. I mean, like, and that's why, kind of like going back to what I was saying, he's just kind of a little bit of a scumbag, because like at the end of the day, like as much as he says that he's like out to do like what's right by like everybody that he's involved with business wise, he really was just kind of only out for himself, and like
as any of these
soon to be wife, your ex-wife,
And that I felt was the interesting part, was the relationship between Sam and Ginger this time around, because like she's mentioned in the first half, but like really the second act is about like the collapse of their relationship, especially the second half of the second act that leads into the third act of everything falling apart, as it always does in these mob stories.
I think Sharon Stone was just amazing in this, because like at this point we've covered like two of the this is like the third Sharon Stone movie we covered. We covered Basic Instinct, we covered Total Recall, and both those movies have her playing for the most part very confident like women that like have control of the room at all times. And here her character is a mess. Like her character like pretty much is just like hysterical throughout this, and it brings a performance for Sharon Stone we haven't really seen before on this podcast. Like this is her only movie she's got nominated for an Oscar, because she shows just
started out confident. That's like what attracted Sam to her. But
Yeah.
whether it's through the,
But we see that breakdown.
We see that breakdown, and it was ultimately a decision to marry Sam, and her relationship that she had with James Woods' character, who he was great in this, Lester Diamond. He was like this slimy pimp that she knew when she was like a hustler coming up in Vegas.
It took me a while to realize that was James Woods.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was James Woods until like the last time, and then it was like, oh, and he's like berating their daughter, and I was like, oh, that's James Woods. Yep.
Yeah.
That's 100% James Woods. But I felt like it was like a two-pronged thing. It was like a relationship that was just never going to work out between Ginger and Sam. Like when he was like, I love you, and she was like, I don't feel about you that way. And he's like, oh, we'll make an agreement. We'll make it work. And like you hear that and you're just like, oh, that never works. That will not work.
Record scratch. Like, oh, so guess what happened?
Yeah. Marriages aren't business decisions, buddy. Sorry.
But I, towards the end, and whether it was through like the manipulation of their relationship, of like, because so like a big prominent part of this early, when they get married, he buys $2 million in jewelry and puts it in a safety deposit box as like a conditional savior in case he goes to jail or she needs the money in whatever pinch. It's there for her. And, it's like she leaves him multiple times throughout the movie. And the only thing that keeps bringing her back is the promise of the money in the safe and the jewelry. And, ultimately, Sam seemed to be kind of in the right, because she was like, when her and Lester, the last time they're together, they're cutting up lines of cocaine in front of their like 8-year-old daughter doing it, and like trying to figure out a plan to manipulate him for all the money they have, where they're going to take her abroad and then like make him pay millions of dollars to get his daughter back. And I'm like, he's not a good person, but he's at least reading this situation pretty well,
He's like, yeah, James Woods, probably you don't want him in your life. I think that's advice for Casino in the movie, and I think that's advice in real life too.
Hey. I don't know, man. You gotta start him out young.
You got to start him out young with a good James Woods
father figure.
He's a paternal figure. That's really what he stands for. But Tommy, for you, what was like kind of your favorite sequence of this film? Like what kind of drew you in the most?
I think that I think this is a scene that was just hilarious, just in a very dark way, of just Sharon Stone just fucking up De Niro's car in the driveway, like over and over and over again. And then like pretty much just De Niro's just like, what the fuck is going on? He steps outside and the cops are there. He's just like, I'm afraid of getting her in my house. I feel like she's gonna break everything. Like, what's going on? And then while you see Sharon Stone just throwing shoes around the fucking house and be like, oh well, fuck this and fuck that. He's just talking to the guy outside, and he's like, oh, some guy have a kid. Like, oh well, you got another kid. Nice, congrats. Just like, they're both of them just like, this fucking asshole is just gonna take care of this shit.
That's just like when she's like outside and she's like, I'm not letting her in until she calms down. She's like, I'm fucking calm. It's like, it doesn't sound calm.
And she's like screaming at him, like, he's threatening me, he's doing all this, and he's just like, listen, I'll let her in the house. She's just got to calm down a little bit. I'm afraid she's gonna hurt me, And it's like, if you're a cop and you don't know the full situation, because Sam has clearly made threats to Ginger, who starts sleeping with Nikki, who is Joe Pesci's character, which is definitely messed up, no question about it. But they, he was, I don't, like, did you feel like he was controlling of her? Because it felt like it was just like a switch in the movie where like she just didn't want to be with him, and then the more she tried to leave, the more controlling he got. But like,
dude, absolutely, he was controlling it. But like, he really got to like a sickness at like towards the end, where like he had like the beeper and like the tracker on her, and then like when she'd come back, he like would question her like, where'd you have lunch? Who'd you like have lunch with? Where'd you eat? Like, shit like that. It became like sort of obsessive after a little while, and like, at a certain point, it would like, you're managing this relationship. Yeah, no, you're micromanaging your marriage, dude. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
But
here?
like, I'll take the devil's advocate position here. Like, she keeps leaving him to go see Lester.
This Sharon Stone need to be controlled.
But no, but I'm not saying she need to be controlled. I'm saying that like he was dumbly, and like he just had this soft spot in his heart for loving her. But every time she came back, he was like ultimately just then had to have more control every time she let him back. The right decision would have been to just be like, let's just get a divorce. Here's half the jewels. Like, yeah, you're gonna blow it, but go ahead. Like, that's like the right way to go about it.
At a certain point, you cut your losses.
Regard. Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. And like, if like, he treats fucking a relationship like anything else, like throughout the movie, whether it be like the casino business or just his life in general, he doubles down on it and he wants his way no matter what. And he will not accept no for an answer.
Yeah, and the big thing that he won't accept no for an answer is when one of the slots managers, some guys were running a hustle on it and they got 3 big jackpots in a row, and the floor manager was tuned in with somebody. His father-in-law worked for the state, for the gaming commission, and they made a big deal about how like they don't really check the applications and you can just change your title every 90 days, like because Sam had a lot of prior history as a gambler, as a bookmaker, so he wouldn't get a job, get that authorized through the gaming commission. But they fired this guy, and it was LQ Jones, who played Pat Webb, comes in, and it's like a very tense scene. I did love like the little bit like, all right, yeah, just give me a minute. And he's like sitting at his desk and he just gets up, he's just in his briefs, like goes into his closet, pulls out a pair of pants to put on. I'm like, oh yeah, this is how this guy operates. If he's just in his office alone, he's going broad, he's going commando down there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No one else is walking in. I mean, I just love the scene of like him going into the office of De Niro and being just like, yeah, you gotta rehire my what was it, brother-in-law or son-in-law?
Son-in-law.
Yeah, but he's like, well, I gotta be honest with you, your son-in-law is incompetent. He's like, you got me there. You can't do shit, but can't you do a favor for me? It's like, no.
Yeah, it's like you could have made him the director of food or whatever, and like got him off like where the money loss is. But another scene of showing like how controlling Sam was he and one of the lawyers were eating muffins, blueberry muffins. They open the muffins. Yeah, and his does not have the same amount of blueberries as the other one. He goes back in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Now make sure every muffin has this equal amount of blueberries. Like, do you know how long that would take? I don't care. Just do it. It's like one of those, and the chef's just standing there like holding it like this, and it's like it's showing how much his ego has ballooned. Where it's just like, because he's a big part of that first hour showing how he's transformed the way these casinos are run and how they were modeled and how they really become this like money maker. And the Tangiers, which is a stand-in for the Stardust, brought in over $100 million of revenue in the 1970s, which is a lot of money.
Especially back then.
And I mean, today it's a lot of money, but back then it's about $1 billion in revenue. It was one of like the first casinos to hit that benchmark, and it's seeing like how that ego just ultimately balloons in his downfall and the downfall of the whole mafia organization there. I did like that they did the Layla scene, quote unquote, with House of the Rising Sun, which I didn't think hit as effectively as the Layla scene in Goodfellas. But there are just a lot of parallels to these two movies where
absolutely.
Where everybody's getting whacked and Ginger ends up dead, overdosed on drugs. It's set to the House of the Rising Sun, and I was just sitting there like watching it. I'm like, oh, this is the Layla scene. Like, I was like, that's all.
Yeah, we're joking up the needle drops that like some of them are kind of like almost eye-rollingly obvious for Scorsese. I mean, he's playing his hits right here. This is Scorsese the hits, I feel like, where he's like, obviously he has Give Me Shelter, which I feel like has been in a fuck ton of Scorsese movies.
Can You Hear Me Knocking during the fucking Coke scene? Like,
Yeah. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, those are great scenes, but it's just like, All right, yes, Scorsese's right in his zone. He's playing his hits right here.
Well, I did like
the
in the
soundtrack's incredible, man.
Yeah.
No matter what movie you put him in, the score is fucking absolutely excellent.
the score is great, but it's kind of the staples of a Scorsese soundtrack that's going to be dropped in. Like you just know you're going to get Rolling Stones, you're going to get like these old classic rock and these old love ballads from like the 1950s. Like it's a very consistent soundtrack. Not that it's not good, but like I feel like Give Me Shelter has been in like 5 Scorsese movies.
Yeah. No, you're probably right about that. He's a big Stones guy, though. He even did a documentary on the Stones.
Yeah. What is it? Shine a Light?
I think that's it. I haven't seen it actually.
There's a whole article I just found that said every time Martin Scorsese used "Give Me Shelter" in his movies. So, I mean, yeah, it's known as a trope at this point for him.
Oh yeah, no, it was in The Departed too.
Oh, yeah, that was everywhere in The Departed in the opening of that movie.
Yeah,
That was everything. I think that might have been like my introduction to that song. Was because I was 2006, I was 12, and I was like, "What is this song?"
I don't know, but he's every bit of a music fanatic as he is a movie fanatic, and that's kind of why he's my favorite director in that regard. Apart from the fact that he's super Italian as well, so that definitely helps.
The
Big George
Machola.
Harrison guy too. Fucking my favorite Beatle. He did a documentary on George Harrison. Fucking incredible documentary if you haven't watched it. But I could go all day. Don't let me get started on the Beatles.
I won't let you started because I'm going to transition right now.
Good.
I am a star. I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
All right. So who is the star of the show? Who do you feel gave the best performance? Tommy, I'm going to kick it over to you.
As much as obviously De Niro's the main character in here, I feel like it's not anything I haven't really seen De Niro do before. So I'm going to go with Sharon Stone. I think she gave a performance that has felt very unique for her filmography. She's not the cool, confident person throughout. You get to see her like break down. You get to see her just have like honestly the most hilarious.
Her emotions take over where she's usually very lethargic and like on point in a lot of her other performances.
Yeah, like you could never see her character in Basic Instinct breaking down like this all the time. Like it's this in general just I felt like just brought a real nuance to the movie, a new flavor to like this movie in many ways felt like Goodfellas Part 2 to me, and she was the one part that stood out to me that didn't feel as more unique in comparison to Goodfellas.
Steve, who's your star of the show?
Well, you see, the thing about George Harrison is that, like, when you think about it, he was really not really heard during the Beatles because, Sharon Stone all day. Tommy said everything I was going to say, essentially. I mean, like, the thing about it is that she was like a wild card from the get-go when you like are introduced to her character, and you think like, all right, this girl is absolutely ape shit off her rocker. There's no way that she can get any crazier. And then she does, and she absolutely owns it. And she's just this maniacal, evil woman. And like some of them, like when you go back to like even TV dramas here, like I'll give you a couple examples, like Carmela in Sopranos, you get Skylar in Breaking Bad, you have these female protagonists or like, supporting actors, so to speak, that are like there for the like main character and like you understand, you empathize with them and you feel for them, but then they turn around and their actions are just so evil. It's like, all right, you're going to fuck with me, I'm going to fuck with you tenfold. And it makes you hate the character so much more.
I've never understood the hatred for Skylar from Breaking Bad. Like, I'm just like, I think she's like kind of 100% in the right.
She's 100% in the right, but then like when you see how fucking cold she is, and like when you're like putting yourself in Walter's shoes, and you're like, he's just doing all this for his family, and then you see like her actions.
But he wasn't.
He's doing it all for his family.
Dude,
like,
but she fucked Ted. She didn't have to fuck Ted. She didn't have to. All right, so that's where she was in the wrong, and at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like this woman like is just so fucking evil, but at the same time, she's kind of right, so you can't really hate her. So, like, at the end of the day, that those are some, like, that's how you can tell who is the best supporting actor in any movie, that you love them so much, like you love their acting style so much that you actually hate their character. And now, like, when I see her face, like, even when I see her face in fucking Seinfeld, I'm like, oh, there's fucking Skylar. I bet she's fucking Ted cheating on Jerry.
Just really intense right there.
That was a real intense hatred of Skylar moment.
Yeah, she kind of sucks. I don't know.
I would also say Sharon Stone. I feel like she also has the most room to play within too. Like for me, ultimately, it felt like De Niro and Pesci didn't really have a line to walk in terms of like acting. Like I just felt like they kind of kept it cool and the same. Like they're good performances, but it didn't have that range that it had in Goodfellas for both of their characters.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say stoic because I don't think it's like the right word, but you
No,
know what
it's
I mean.
not. You knew what you were going to get.
Well,
That's
well,
what it was.
Exactly.
But,
with Pesci I thought was good in this movie, but it did, like we were saying before, it just felt like Tommy 2.0 in this movie, where like he didn't really do anything that was anything different from Goodfellas. It might as well just been the same character. Obviously, historically it wasn't and stuff like that, but it was just of course, who's gonna play the hothead mobster in this movie? Oh, Joe Pesci, of course.
yeah.
So he just played his typical, like, range and stuff like that. It almost felt like a typecast thing, where it's like, okay, of course we're going to cast this guy. So
It's another fucking De Niro Pesci movie that you guys got to do if you both haven't seen it, or at least one of you, is Raging Bull. Have you
I've
guys
seen
watched it?
Raging Bull's fantastic.
Haven't seen it all the way through.
It still counts. Tom,
Yeah.
we should fucking do that.
Same thing with Casino. I remember I rented Casino at like a fucking local video store like 13 years ago, and for some reason I think it was like I watched 30 minutes and then like I got called for dinner and I just never finished it. I forgot to
fucking
finish it.
see, I told you. Mr. Short attention span right there. I fucking called it. Well, how old were you?
I was like in like 10th grade, I think, when this happened. So
okay. Yeah. You had
this is pre-smartphone, so I think I had better attention span back then.
You probably did.
Yeah,
we all did.
yeah, that's for real.
A simpler time.
Are you ready, comedy partner? Waka waka.
You know what I'm learning with these 3-hour epics, Tommy?
Didn't work well about the movies.
Yeah, when I hit that drop, it's like, oh, would Casino work as a Muppet adaptation? Steve, I'm gonna throw it to you first. Do you think Casino could work? Do you think we could get Kermit running around running a casino?
Not a shot-for-shot remake.
I just like a shot-for-shot remake of them taking the hammer to fucking like Pepe the Prawn's fucking fingers and just smash his fucking felt fingers.
Or beats him over the head with like a rotary phone, or like
get really slapstick. They could get really slapsticky because this movie is way more brutal than Goodfellas.
Well, this is a movie that like was originally going to be NC-17 because of how violent it was, and they had to make like a ton of cuts just to get it down to an R.
Well, I wonder if they did the South Park guys things where they said when they were doing the movie they would put in jokes that were intentionally like more bad, so that the jokes that they actually wanted to get into the movie like got in.
Oh, so they did that 100% for this movie. Scorsese said that he intentionally had the Vice scene, the guy with his head in the Vice, as like a thing of like, oh well, MPA is probably going to cut this out immediately, and like they won't cut out everything else. I really want this movie, and then shockingly they were like, yeah, the head Vice scene, like, yeah, whatever, keep that in, it's cool.
Yeah, and that was like one of the most vicious things I've ever seen in a Scorsese movie. The kills in this are more vicious, although less frequent, I feel like, than in some of his other films.
Yeah, well, it definitely makes it stand out more too.
Yeah, it does,
in that regard.
It emphasizes like the plot progression and the points, because it's usually like a transition of time comes right after it in a big moment when somebody gets whacked. It's a big change there.
I'm looking at a picture right now of P. Diddy with Pepe the Prawn at a casino, both just them in Texas. So I mean, they've gone down that avenue before.
Yeah, but you know what? I like definitely not shot for shot, but you know what? We'll do a Muppet adaptation of the best kill scenes. How's that sound? Because I'd love to see a Muppet adaptation of Joe Pesci getting fucking watching his like Bert and Ernie getting while fucking Ernie watching Bert get beat with baseball bats.
No!
No,
That's also like in the last 5 minutes of the movie, versus like Tommy's death, which was like the hour 45 mark. In Goodfellas, this is in like the last 5 minutes of a 3 hour movie, and then it's like Sammy in San Diego being like, "Yeah, I still make lines. That's what I do." Movie ends. Movie ends.
And everything for me turned out just okay. I mean, I did like how the movie opened up with the car bombing, and then
Wait, did you guys see the fake dummy there? Because it was very obvious in the in the opening one.
The fake dummy. I mean, like apparently that was like the way to show like him descending into hell. But I was kind of shocked that as a narrative trick. I literally thought this was gonna be a movie of like, yeah, I've been dead the whole time and I'm narrating. Like, what's that movie that's done that before? Like, there's some random shitty movie that's like, yeah, I've been talking to you this whole time and I've been dead and you're narrator.
Well, that's because you're gonna roll your eyes. I do like because Joe Pesci also narrates. Frank Vincent a couple times narrates in there. But Joe Pesci's given the narration, and then he just goes when he's about to get whacked, and he goes and then that's the end.
Oh yeah,
the voiceover.
I actually just noticed that this last time watching it that it cuts like right in the middle of a sentence almost. And
he goes like he got like when he was getting grabbed. Yeah, particularly brutal kill scenes that the Muppets could definitely make fun for children. So review time, boys. Steve,
4 or 5 all day.
4 to 5.
Yeah, no, all day. Like if you like Scorsese movies, this is one that is quintessential to the collection. You must see, hands down. Great story, true story. Gives you a lot of insight of the mob as well as just how Las Vegas was built, like I was saying earlier. And it's really eye opening in that regard, and it's a lot of fun.
Tommy?
So I like this movie. This is a fun first watch. A lot of it though did feel like Scorsese playing the hits. I mean, it felt like covering well-trod ground he's done before. But overall, I mean, the performances were good given that those things, and the hits of Scorsese are fucking a lot better than any other directors. So I mean, I'm gonna go 4 out of 5. Just wasn't really a huge innovation movie for me. I mean, like the way Goodfellas felt like groundbreaking, but overall, this is a good second at bat for, as Goodfellas 2 is what this movie feels like.
All right, Tommy, up there with Batman, Superman. 4 to 5.
Batman, Superman, I gave it fucking like 2 out of 5. Set the record straight.
Okay.
Yeah, anytime he gives something good a 2 out of 5, I'm just like, that's Tommy's Batman v Superman. Now, he liked Casino more than Batman v Superman. We got to give him some credit where credit's due. Yeah, I'm also going to give it a 4 to 5. It's, I want to also highlight the costumes. I felt like all the costumes were fantastic, like very colorful suits. Like it always
had like
felt
$1 million.
alive.
They had $1 million budget just for costumes.
Yeah, like it felt very alive. Like Sam was in a new suit every scene. Every time the camera cut away, he was wearing something different. As Tommy and Steve covered here, it feels like what you kind of would expect. I think that was kind of almost the thing that you'd want different from this. But it's still a great story with great performances with one of the greatest directors making the film. So yeah, you're gonna have a good time with Casino. 4 to 5. Yeah. Upstairs, Steve, thanks for joining us again. It's always fun to have you on, as always.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me once again. And look forward to many more.
Have you seen It's a Wonderful Life before?
I haven't.
Oh,
you just like made Tim just so fucking happy.
Yeah,
wow. Hold on,
Tim. So we want to do a recoverage of It's a Wonderful Life.
But we just want to share the joy and the beauty of that movie with everybody. So now you're a guest for a Christmas episode. One of them is going to be It's a Wonderful Life again.
Lock in. You have to watch a movie from the 40s, Tim. I mean, Steve.
I could do that. I fucking love movies from back then.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie. It's a great movie though. So,
but we'll have Upstairs Steve on again for It's a Wonderful Life. Tommy, any final thoughts before we wrap up this episode?
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for listening. You can follow us on social media at Seen It Pod. That's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, the occasional thread, here and there. And leave us a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Really helps out the show, helps us grow, and say some good things, or say some good things about Upstairs Steve. And
big underscore Moch 821 on Instagram, YouTube. Your sister's ass, the Pony Express. Holla at your boy.
Exactly. And next week we're doing Mrs. Doubtfire, a movie I've tried to watch twice and somehow never finished. So not because I fell asleep, not because I fucking hated the movie.
No, we're all judging you.
They're all judging you because you can't stay awake for a 90-minute movie. Thank you guys all so much for listening today. We will see you again next week.